Hi there, I'm Kevin Benedict, Senior Analyst with the Center for Digital Intelligence, spending all week here in Silicon Valley, talking to various technology experts and industry experts. And I'm so happy today to be able to spend time with Mark Lewis. Mark, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for inviting me, Kevin.
So Mark has served in technology roles, for example, Chief Marketing Officer of Clarity Insight, and just knows all kinds of things around customer analytics from all your past experiences, and you were digital practice leader at Slalom Consulting.
That's correct, yeah, exactly.
So he's all kinds of experience there. So we're just thrilled to be able to pick your brain today.
Hey, well, looking forward to it.
So recently I wrote a report called Cutting Through Chaos in the Age of Mobile Me. And this report was all focused around contextually relevant personalization around mobile applications and things like that.
Yep.
Now, none of that is possible or relevant without having some really good customer-based analytics.
Absolutely. And I think this is actually one of the big challenges that companies face when really wanting to interact with customers in the right way. You have to get personal. You have to be relevant in the right time, in the right place. And the challenge is that how do you understand people's behavior across multiple devices on multiple occasions?
Oh, absolutely. Because my research shows that they use different devices at different times of the day and for different purposes.
And unless you are someone really huge and powerful like Google, it's very hard to actually cookie people across those things. And moreover, for a lot of companies, the data is actually held in different places. And so data silos become a huge issue. So, nowadays, I think with the advent of big data technology, it is more possible than ever to bring that data together. But then, one of the big challenges you have is, how do I know the person who was on my website, is the same person who looked at my Facebook page? And then you start having to use tools like entity resolution, so machine learning based ways of being able to understand if account A and account B are linked to get that continuous picture. And companies are not really exploiting that technology maybe as much as they should. Only then can you sort of really understand the customer journey to the fullest extent possible, understand the real point of impact that you as a marketer can make, and then actually take action on it.
In my research, one of the biggest challenges marketers have right now is that often they don't even know when a customer is in a journey until it's close to being finished.
Yeah, and buyer behavior is actually changing all the time. In the B2B space, for example, it's very likely that someone in an enterprise won't go and contact your company, won't even maybe come onto your website until they're sort of halfway down the buying funnel. So what do? You can look for intent signals, you can look for searches that people are doing, so having a presence on SEM is important, but really the best thing is to be proactive, to identify what your best prospects look like and understand what they're doing to be in the right place at the right time.
Got it. So Mark, of course, whenever we talk about getting more information and using more information and being more precise about information, it makes a lot of people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because it's really personal, and as a marketer, you want to get as personal as you possibly can. How do you draw that line there, and how do you actually create an environment where customers are comfortable with that?
Yeah, I think that it's a very good question, and it is a fine line, but I think the key thing to do is to apply your own sensibility to it. Does it feel creepy to me? If it does, that's a big red flag, right? Also, asking the customer for permission is something that we tend to forget about. Andreas Weigand, who used to be a chief data officer at Amazon.com, he talks about data exchanges with customers and creating the setup so that you are giving the customer something when they are giving you their data, and asking them, do you want to receive more personal offers? Do you want to receive more personal content? That's kind of how you go about doing it. I think the other thing that can happen is, sort of a flip on what you're saying a little bit, is marketers are uncomfortable with the kinds of data analyses they need to do because they're marketers, they're not data scientists. And so, but yet that data science piece is happening maybe somewhere else in the organization. How do I really get comfortable using something like that to get more personal?
Absolutely, and it seems to me when I was doing some research on this, and our findings were that there needs to be a very transparent use of data.
Yep.
And it's almost like you can allow a sliding scale and allow the customer to adjust the sliding scale,
yeah,
where you can be proactively offering additional benefits and value,
yeah,
if they let you have more personal information.
Absolutely. That's exactly the kind of exchange that I was talking about. You know, have the customer buy in and become part of it. Really be transparent about how you are using their data. Brands today must be transparent. They must be authentic with customers in order to win their trust.
You know, in my mind, I can see a series of infographics where you say, look, if you give me this much information about yourself, I can connect and show you relevant things that you've been looking at.
Right.
If you give me this much, I can predict going forward what you might find useful. And so just letting them kind of adjust that scale.
Right. Now, I think that, you know, but in reality, I think we have to always question, how valuable is it for the consumer to have these more personalized experiences? What does it actually get them? Are you saving them time, right? Are you surfacing and curating things for them? If you're not, and you're not bringing it right to the top of your homepage, like, see these latest things that we found for you,
right?
Then how much value are you really providing? And then the other piece is, are you, I mean, money talks, right? So are you giving them discounts for their greater involvement in that?
Very good. And so looking forward next year, in Europe, they have some big data privacy issues coming up in new regulations. How does a multinational company that has to do business in all different regions, how do they support all these different country-based privacy regulations and laws? It seems like that would almost be cost prohibitive.
It's, I think, a very difficult thing. I think ultimately you may see the United States move towards that. But I think that in some ways it's okay, because consumer behavior in Europe is not the same as it is in the United States. Sure, there are commonalities, but there are going to be different segments and micro segments that you want to use. So keeping that data separate and using it in a different way is okay. On the other hand, one thing that I do think companies have to do is have the same super high standards of data security across all of their data. Nothing breaks consumer trust more than that. I actually see, sort of maybe further off in the future, that regulators will encourage and consumers will demand that they have ownership of their data. In Europe, consumers already have data portability. Right? If I close my Facebook account, I can download all that data and take it somewhere and not allow Facebook to keep it. How far off are we from people saying, you know what, I own my data and I'm going to charge you every time you want to use it? And then in some ways, you know, that's a different paradigm and you overcome some of these issues and you automatically...
I'm a big fan of that. And I'm also a big fan of the right to be forgotten. You know, in just about every country out there, there's the ability to, if your business goes bad, you can file bankruptcy. You can refresh everything, start new, and go back and try again. But in the world of the internet, you screw up and you get your name on the wrong website, you have no ability to start fresh. It's like whatever you did in your indiscretions in youth, your youthful indiscretions can haunt you for your entire life.
Absolutely.
And that's just not right.
Absolutely. And I think that, you know, this is why, you know, who really owns the data is your really big question. And, you know, I think, you know, in the past, you know, marketers looked at consumers as someone we beamed messages to, and we used words like target, right, as to talk about the consumer, instead of thinking of consumers as people, and people we as business need to partner with, right? Make it collaborative when it comes to your data. You'll actually get more back. You'll actually come to a better understanding. People will want to link multiple accounts so you don't have to, you know, overcome this entity resolution challenge in data that I was talking about.
Absolutely. So Mark, I want to thank you so much for sharing your insights from the Silicon Valley here.
Thank you, Kevin. It's been a pleasure.
And thank you guys for joining us.